I guess as I'm feeling into the energy, it is love. It's like fierce love and divine love. And like, kid, you are so loved. You take lifetimes to figure it out if you need to. Yeah. I
So
did a cool human design reading yesterday, and she was just like, whatever comes to your mind is just fine. So I'm going to just go with the flow with you here today.
I
It'll be a
love
nice
that.
practice.
Jamie, Jamie Wozny, who are you?
Who am I? Wow. Um, I'll give you some human words first. I like the word priestess and seer. I've had a strong ability to channel divinity to down into humanity, which is the priestess of me. I love ritual and all things sacred and holy. Um, I'm one who loves moments and the profundity of moments.
Hmm.
Which I feel as the priestess, it's like I do really hold that which is sacred. Um, we just had a conversation too, and we can go into this more, but I don't know if it's boundaries, right, around that, but like I bird these sacred things inside of myself and then hold it. If you think of another word to honor, perhaps, but honor that sacred within me so that I can be an example of it or anchor it into the grid. Um, yeah. And a seer, which is also an intuitive. And I've been doing psychic work for with animals and humans for a very long time. I teach meditation. I have been a Reiki master. I have been an animal communicator, mediumship, life coach. I'm just giving you some
I
labels.
I absolutely love like you again, Renaissance woman, and I
That's
say
it.
that a lot, but truly you have so many things. Like I'm reading your book, for those, James got an amazing book, and
Thank you.
it's just all the things. I'm just like, wow, damn, damn, like just all these things she has done, and she isn't, I on the thumbnail of this video I put like, seer, multi healer, because I was like seer, modern day priestess, just all of these things is super incredible, and I am fascinated by all of that. Um, and I mean, you've been doing this for a while. Like I mean,
Yeah.
I did my reconnaissance. I mean, I went. You've been making at least like YouTube videos since my spiritual journey was in diapers.
Mm,
I was still coming off the Matrix teat when you're out there putting yourself out there doing this stuff, like
yeah.
just going in all these directions, and this amazing process of like you said, like a seer, a modern day priestess, all of these things, a Reiki healer, a lioness, you pride, like you hold these space for these groups, you work with animals. That's a
Yeah.
amazing one too. So I mean, they're
Yeah.
all amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. In human design, if anybody knows human, I'm sure most listeners will know. It's a how do you even describe human design? But it's like a technology for me that helps me know myself. I'm a 1-3 in
Mm.
human design, which is an experimenter, a wise person and an experimenter. And I find that that's why I've studied so much. I love learning. I love trying all of this on. That's why I feel that I'm a great guide because I've tried so many things and I can say, "Hey, community, this is the most efficient path. This one, don't even bother. This one, wow." You know? Um, so I have had a lot of courage on my journey to like really get messy, really be imperfect. A lot of people who deal with perfectionism, we all have had our stuff, but that's one I don't feel like I carry a strong perfectionism wound, and I can be good for people who have had that. Um, I forget why I was looping into that, but just trying a whole bunch of stuff. Like I'm willing to kind of get on the ground and get dirty and get messy and have it be wrong and have it be imperfect and not quote unquote professional, um, for the sake of learning, for the sake of the brilliance that you learn on the other side of that.
And that's an amazing thing that happens with a lot of teachers, a lot
Mm.
of spiritual leaders, or just, or at least those of us who volunteer to kind of like jump in the water first. We kind of really get messy and we like, I mean, we have a lot of us have a past where you wouldn't even think we would have ever have been like a spiritual like teacher or just
Oh
like
yeah.
any of this. Like it's like there's some of the most amazing tapped in individuals I know have the complete opposite past of like it's like you would be blown away
Yeah.
because I think when we come here, when we incarnate, when we come here to be these things, we experience the opposite first, and so we can kind of have that embodiment. And I think even while we're here, the moment I know for me, the moment the moment I decided that I wanted to work with men and help heal the divine masculine
Mm.
is the moment I started embodying things I never thought. Like I was like all of a sudden I looked at myself in the mirror. I was like, how long has that been there? Just things I've hated in masculinity, and I'm like looking at myself like, oh my God. And it's just like I stepped into another universe, like where I was
Mm.
these things. It was really interesting, and I started being put through the ringer of just all sorts of things that my brother is in his masculine experience in general, and it was just so it was kind of fucked up, and I was kind of like maybe I don't, but it's if you're gonna the universe in a way, it's like if you're gonna teach something,
Yeah.
you're gonna be an example of something, you're going to learn it. You're going to
Ooh.
go through, and it's not cruel. It's not.
No.
It does seem really cruel a lot of times while you're in it, but it's looking back, it's to master it, to really. I mean, because there's so many people that talk about things. We can talk
Yeah.
about things all the day long. There's a difference between knowledge and knowing. Wait, is that right? There's a difference between,
That makes sense to me.
and that's what I meant to say. So, because like we have the knowledge, information is out there, but to then know it
Yeah.
intrinsically, like that, like that that gnosis of after the learning and after the embodying, that experience of it, it's a whole
Mm.
different ballgame.
Yeah. Amen. Amen.
So that's why you're so amazing. I mean, just everything you have been, I've had the privilege of meeting you in this
Mm.
lifetime. I mean, I know you through some beautiful friends, and so it's
Mm.
just this amazing way to connect. But it's just I can tell, I can see again through a visitor's window's perspective. I don't know, but I can see and understand at least from a very limited perspective of the just sheer amount, the depravity of what you've been through,
Yeah.
which is a shorthand, a lot.
Wowie. Yeah. Us light workers can really be,
You can go through the ringer.
we're courageous. That's why I'm very much these days called to help people embody lioness or lion energy because um yeah, and that's so interesting what you say too. Like, my teacher would say to me for years, life is happening for you. Life is happening for you. And she would help people heal from the darkest shit, like, cancer and deep depression and suicidal ideation and chronic this and that. Um, And I was telling you at the beginning, it's like it's hard when you're in the dark and you can't see that. So it's really nice when you're listening to a podcast like yours and it's like, because this helped me in darker times. Like, I know this doesn't feel like it right now. I know I'm miserable, and it doesn't mean to invalidate the pain that life is happening for you. It's not that at all. But somehow, some way, I'm mastering something. I'm learning something. And that might even be like for me, my life has brought me so much love and compassion, um, that I am mastering. For I have a very personal path too. It's like I teach a lot about, that's another thing. I teach self-love courses because I have I've had to learn that. I disconnected from that when I was young, and so I had to take that power back and feed it to myself. Um, and then realize when you do, the world reflects it back, which is wild. But so I've learned about magic and quantum physics and like just an amazing amount of things through my journey. And then today I just it's so profound it's hard for me to articulate it right now, but I learned another level of, I guess, as I'm feeling into the energy, it is love. It's like fierce love and divine love. And like, kid, you are so loved. You take lifetimes to figure it out if you need to.
I love
Um,
that.
but like you said, I kind of learned the opposite. I learned, and I even say innocently because it is innocently,
Mm,
that the culture I was raised around was very fast, impatient, sped up, rush, which most of us, regardless of trauma, are raised around. To then have the wherewithal to be I am a devoted soul. Just as you are, right? It's like not a lot of people live the way we do. And the healing we've done and the learning we've done and the growing and the courage and um that it's almost like God knows that's a person that's got a strong divine will that is going to just keep going at all odds and know there's still a little light burning regardless of whatever it is they're going through. That it brought me to the other side of like slowing down my energy field so much and welcoming patience and welcoming my speed and my space. But I needed that because having that in the hands of a light worker who carries a torch, it's like I, in my dedicated, devoted nature, gonna hold that space now. And like
mm.
I would have never, had I not had the path I had, I would have never known to slow down, known to anchor patience in, known to listen to my body. How fast do you want to speak? How fast do you want to shower? Whatever it was like that. And I don't necessarily believe that we have to have suffering to learn. I believe we have suffering and we learn, because that can get us into a
Yeah.
trap. But I do believe there's mastery and also some trauma we're clearing and healing. But it is really profound and hard to wrap your head around and you know.
It's it really is a perfect design
Mm,
of how. So I like to think about it, how I envision it is before we, incarnate, we go into
mm,
like, so as I've heard, there's many people who have talked about this like Dolores Cannon.
mm,
You go and kind of go into this like viewing room. Your soul kind of goes into like, I mean, I guess this is how we would visualize it. You're going to go into a viewing room of the incarnation. The individual you're going to be. The avatar you're gonna go into, and you see, I guess there's, the other souls, your family, your friends, all these other people. I kind of see it in that. Hopefully, people will get this, know what I'm talking about. But that last scene, one of that last scenes in the Barbie movie, where Margot Robbie's kind of like right before she kind of becomes, spoilers alert for the Barbie movie.
mm.
I mean,
Whoops.
so that last scene where Margot Robbie's about to become human, but she's with
Oof.
what's her name? But who was the Barbie herself? Danny DeVito's wife, who plays who plays who plays
Oh,
um.
yes, I can picture her
Regardless,
from
is that
Cheers.
yes, yes. But she kind of sees, and it kind of goes through like home videos of girls or just
Mm,
people or women just through their life. And to me, that, I mean, and that Billie Eilish song just kills me to this day. But that is kind of how I see it. You go in
mm,
there and you're like, you fall in love
mm,
deeply. You fall in love, like that is perfect because you see, I mean, through everything, not just like the good and the beautiful, the innocent, but like the heartbreak, the just even the trauma, because you see how, because you have an idea, or not idea, you have a trajectory, you have a goal, or something you want to come down here and bring, or at least learn, and it's going to go through this process.
Mm.
It's going to go through this like boot camp, this training or whatever. You're going to experience it, which is going to kind of create, that pressure that's going to make that diamond or that whatever that's going to form into this lesson, this embodiment, this energy, this way of being in all forms. And out of, I mean, you probably, I mean, I assume we see like many, 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 many variables and we're like,
Mm.
that's the one.
Mm.
I want to be Jamie Wozny. I
Mm.
want to be Matt Catlett. And you're just like, and like, again, like in your guide, you're like, oh, it's perfect. It's really that beautiful. And, and it's also then you get here and you're like, what the fuck? Why did I choose this? Like, what was I drunk? Like to
Yeah.
me, like there's a in for people who know video games, there's a lot of times where you play a video game, you beat the game, yay, and then there's an option to like called New Game Plus where you can play the game again and with like a harder difficulty. And I was like, I've never done that. I mean, I've never been one to stray away from challenge, but when I have the option, I'm like, fuck that, I don't want to do that. But my soul chose that coming down here. What? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, give me new game, give me all those things. Let's go, let's go. I'm like, oh.
I know. I know. That's why in those days to just hold that mantra, like life is happening for me. I know I may have forgotten this. I know this feels horrible, but there will be a day I wake up or I have a healing session or I have a conversation or I hear something and something shifts and I feel better and I am like, that's why I was doing it. That's what I was here to learn, you know?
I love that. Yeah, bringing it back to the universe, life, and everything's working for you. That's such a mastery too. And the word, I love this. It's very word porn, but it's called pronoia.
Oh yes, I feel like I read about no metanoia.
Metanoia?
Is that a different word? That's
I'm
the
not.
word I think.
I'm unfamiliar with that, but I do know that just like how paranoia is like everything's out to get me, it's like everything's against me. Whereas in the ad or the antonym pronoia is everything is working for me.
That's
I'm,
it.
I'm unfamiliar with I'm unfamiliar. I'm gonna look it up.
We
I'm
have
unfamiliar with your word.
metanoia. I feel it's something like that. I read it in some like spiritual self-help book. Hubs just came in to say hi.
Feels a good energy.
It's
I gotta
family.
tell you, I have done Reiki on an animal more recently with a friend of mine, and because I'm used to doing it with people, but it was really interesting. I mean, I've done it actually with my own little critter, but it's an interesting experience at doing it for a human versus an animal. I mean, I looked it up. I wanted to make sure, they have similar chakras than us. They have like the seven main. Apparently certain animals don't. I don't know. That's a whole another ball game I'm unfamiliar with. But it was interesting to see the placement actually do it. Anyway, that's
Yeah. It's different, yes. And like when I first learned that I had this gift, I was like, somebody was begging me to work on their animal, and I was like, no, I don't do that. And my thought was, um, I, I'm just gonna try what I do on people with this. What was a bird? I'm just gonna try what I do on people with this bird, and then it worked. So I was like, oh, it's the same energy healing, intuitive. They're just more sensitive.
yeah,
They're just more like my animal sessions are a half hour because they don't need as much. You have to really a lot of times they'll be like done in 5 minutes and they'll walk away.
yeah,
And then the human's like, wait, no, 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 you need healing.
yeah.
But
So your owner paid for 30 minutes.
right.
Like,
No, it's done. It's done. We're good. Yeah, exactly.
it's interesting. They don't have the karma at least that we do or the other stuff.
It's wild. Like some sessions I do with them, it's just a simple practical human thing. Like, oh wow, I like this one time I got strongly this one animal needed like a vitamin B, like a high level of vitamin B liquid, maybe like a vitamin B shot or something. And then the lady called me back and said, this is crazy. We just went to a specialty vet and that's the treatment. And I was like, well, because I'm thinking, it was like a brain injury. And I'm thinking, why the hell am I getting a vitamin for this dog. But every time I'm like, well, because that's the treatment for the brain thing. But, and then sometimes it's very profound, like what planet they came from and their soul purpose and why their wound matches their owner's wound. And they're like,
That's insane. I love that.
yeah, it's pretty deep. And like every time he goes through something, I go, okay, let's check in. Either my partner or one of us, there's some sort of reflection. And we could just get curious. Like it's just so wild from different levels of consciousness. Sometimes it's just an animal to somebody, which is great because they're love anyway.
Mhm.
And then sometimes it's like, wow, my spiritual evolution buddy, when you're on another level of consciousness.
I mean, as a divine witch yourself, it's like you're familiar.
Right. Exactly.
So, would you like to give us more about, you know, where you came from, and what you do?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna I'm gonna tune into my higher self for that answer because I am a multi-passionate being. And I have learned a lot of things. So where I came from, I had a very and again, all of this is innocent, but codependent patterns. Felt very unsafe, so afraid. I was on anxiety medication. I had panic attacks, digestive issues, always physical issues. Just a super sensitive kid in a family that didn't know that. Like I wasn't some people are like, "Oh yeah, my mother was tending to the garden and we meditated and this that." Like, I didn't have that. I had an incredible mother though. My mother is also a light worker. She didn't know that about herself when she was younger. She's kind of opened up to her journey as I've opened up to mine. So I had a fierce mother's love and I had one space that was safe. Um, and then there was a lot of innocent, lack of intimacy, chaos, abuse, all the things. And for a little sensitive kid, it was just very intense to grow up with. And I had a lot of instability because my parents divorced when I was 3, and I didn't have my own room at my dad's house, and I was always at a different house, and so it never I didn't have that like warm, caring, nurturing. It was kind of like survival mode early. I got shy, I got quiet young. And yeah, just dealt with if anybody on here has had gnarly anxiety. I mean, that was me for a lot of years. I mean, till recently, honestly. Um, and then I did pretty good through college when I was in the masculine paradigm. I like kind of like most of us, I was in survival mode and I was a journalism major and I worked at a news station out of college. And I had a gnarly panic attack my first day of work. I went from what was it called? Not I guess apprenticeship. I forget what it's called in college, but basically they offered me a job and it was insane stress. I had to be there at 4 in the morning. It was a newsroom, so like it was all about gunshots and limbs hanging off and all this and I'm getting information from the police scanners and it was just fucking intense energy. So I had a panic attack and didn't know it was a panic attack. I couldn't remember my name. I thought I was dying, so they called an ambulance. And so mortified, like rushed out to the ER on the first day of work. And the president of the company was there that day. But anyway, I didn't go back to that job. And I said to my mom, um, is life supposed to be like this? And she said, no, honey, what do you want to do? And I was an actress when I was young. It was like my safe space. Um, and so I was like, I'm going to come out to LA and be an actress. But, that was an interesting journey because I am an artist through and through. I am a performer. I am a creative. I'm an author, a poet, an actor, a writer, a songwriter, a singer. I do all these beautiful things. But there was part of me, I was so not seen, which I most of my clients I work with feel the same way, especially if you're a light worker. So I hear you and know you that pain because innocently people at a different level of consciousness don't see us. They don't have eyes for soul gifts and feelings and patience and light and essence and all of needs. Like, right? Needs is something I've worked on for so long because it's like they didn't know to check in with themselves and say, what do I need right now? So they don't know to ask a child, what do you need right now? So there was, I think, some wires crossed where I loved this thing, but I also was desperate to be important and special and seen. Um, and once I healed that, I didn't want to be an actress anymore, which was interesting. I was like, whoa, okay. Um, and about 10 years ago, I was acting and I was like kind of dabbling. I had become a Reiki master and I was like learning about all of this esoteric and witchy and healing stuff. And I got really sick. It was like my body couldn't withstand the unhealed trauma that I thought I was trying to heal. It couldn't. I had no context for how to care for myself as a sensitive soul. I was living the codependency. It was still like I was trying to rearrange parts outside to be okay.
Hmm.
I had no idea that it lived in, and I'm looking at the simplicity of my journey for a moment. It literally lived in me tending to myself instead of like, how can that person help me or this pill or that doctor or whatever. I was in such a trauma response and afraid. So I would get a symptom. I had Lyme and hormone imbalances and chronic this, that, and autoimmune. I don't even know what the heck some of I just had so many different diagnoses. And I would get so afraid because you're in these loops. And then I would make decisions from fear. I know
Hmm.
our mutual friend Rachel, we talked about that in our health thing that we taught, but just so many decisions from fear. But I didn't know, and you were talking about this in the beginning, I didn't know I needed to slow down and pause and just ask myself, how do you feel right now? Right? The masculine within me meeting the feminine and giving myself space because the masculine in my external environment growing up innocently didn't give me that space.
Hmm.
So I had to learn to just witness the energy moving through me. And over 10 years of doing that and meeting these other healers, like I did a healing session today, and you literally find the first memory, like you look at your life now and you're like, where are the blocks? What's not working for me? When's the first time I felt that way? And we just give that kid every ounce of compassion for anything they feel, anything they think, anything they believe. Like we just go in every little layer and just, I'm so sorry you feel this way. I'm so sorry you think this way. And it is this weight lifted off of your chest. If somebody had said to me 10 years ago, I don't know if I would have understood it. Compassion will heal you.
Mm.
That I just needed to go in here and say, "Oh, buddy, I'm sorry." And then because we're all energy and the blocks release and the blocks let go. And then, your true nature, which is there and whole and complete, which again, I didn't get that. I was like, I'm so broken and fucked up. I am not whole and complete, but yes, I am, we are. Um, and then yeah, I just once my body kind of broke down, then I became fascinated with all of this. It was like I got to learn everything I possibly can learn about healing. And then it just became a passion. I was like, our minds can do what? Our bodies can do what? Like we can manifest, we can heal. What compassion does what? Like,
We're superheroes? What?
dude, like I was filled with shame and sadness this morning. And I use the medicine of compassion. Like it's that profound. And I'm sitting here with you with this internal cozy feeling. It almost feels like we're sitting by a fire and we've been skiing all day and I'm good tired. And we've
Love
got
that.
slippers on because it's just this inner peace and warmth. Um, and so and our brain will tell us because when our nervous system's dysregulated, I've also had to do a lot of nervous system body-based healing. when our nervous system's dysregulated, it will say to you, it sounds like fast, quick, go. So I was stuck in this loop of like, oh my God, I'm not okay. And then thank God for the teachers I've had. They've been brilliant to just point me back in. Love yourself, hold yourself, tend to yourself, honor your boundaries. That's so I'm leading this lioness course, I think in a week. We're going to be doing these meditations, and that's all of it. It's about one of them's your protective cave, feeling safe, honoring your truth. Um, I thought if I loved myself, if I cared for myself, if I tended to myself, I would literally die or disappear or not be safe or not be loved. And I found the exact opposite that I wake, I thrive, I feel safe, I feel like I'm cozy by a fire. And I didn't do anything besides go to Trader Joe's today and like a couple other work things and sitting here with you. So I just think it's amazing what's available to us. And it's hard. It's a beautiful thing. And it's wonderful when we have seer eyes like you and I, when you look out into the world and you see people kind of so immersed innocently in their reality, not realizing what is available for them, what's on offer.
Hmm.
But again, I don't know if I would have like the journey I've had to take with the physical pain and the anxiety and the depression and just chronic everything. Um, was not easy, but I know we all kind of go through our stuff. But I'll wrap it up too by just saying I've kind of alluded to this a few times that well, there was something I was going to say about earlier, but I can't remember how I was just going to wrap it around about the impatience. Like this the lioness and the boundaries and all of that my upbringers didn't offer that to me, right? But that I don't, this is the thing about taking your power back. I don't need to wait for somebody to give me kindness and patience. I
Hmm.
can do it for myself. And like that's where I feel safe. That's where like I've been looking for me. It's like, oh, and again, you can't see this in the beginning of your journey, but when we don't feel safe outside, it's a reflection of what's going on in us. And that took massive humility and courage to say, oh, I'm stuck in victim consciousness now, not because I'm an a-hole or I'm actually a victim. But when we can wake up and see life as a mirror and tend to the pain of that mirror, to go, fuck, this sucks. I need to cry. I need a friend. I need a tissue. I need a healing. And get curious. Oof, I wonder what karmic pattern or wound is occurring or what mastery I'm on in my soul, so that I can evolve to my next thing. And I feel like my journey has allowed me to meet both in me with that of like, I say that a lot if I'm talking to somebody and I'm just venting. I'm like, just hold this not tightly. Don't hold me to this tomorrow. I need to just let the energy move through. I'm aware that I need to be human and feminine and let this move through, but I'm also aware,
Fire away.
Yes, Chris Stapleton. Did you know that song? Chris
No,
Stapleton wrote,
I was just like, this is something I say,
I
just
know.
like for a venting, just fire away.
Well, Chris Stapleton wrote a song from the masculine perspective to the feminine called Fire Away.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
It's fire away. Take your best shot. Show me what you got. Honey, I'm not afraid. It is like the epitome of a mantra for the masculine of like, fire away, feminine. Take your best shot. Show me what you got. Honey, I'm not afraid. Right. And that's how we meet ourselves. So there's just so many profound things coming in, but I'm just sharing, what's here and what's fresh and what's alive.
That is absolutely beautiful. I love the rawness that you just gave us.
Mm,
Like, I love all of that.
mm,
I love the compassion
mm,
and how that is such a overlooked, underestimated power. Because coming from going back to coming from a masculine paradigm, all stressors, all things that we deem unwanted are neutralized in a certain way to get it out or remove it or stop it.
Right.
But the feminine, I mean, you know, this has always been intrinsic with us, but the reintroduction or the remembrance of compassion, a way to love something to transmute it. I mean, like think of all our storytelling. I mean, I was talking about this with Michael in my last in the episode before this of how storytelling has been a very certain way. And we
Mm.
see think of this like the story is like, you know, Luke Skywalker, like we like the main antagonist is always killed. Typically. I guess like Darth Vader kind of was a he kind of came back to this. Anyway, typically how we banish darkness, we conquer the demons is typically is how we've been taught is by destroying it, stopping it, killing it.
Yes.
But what we're also remembering is just as powerful, maybe even more powerful, is because we're all one. Is the transmuting of these things through compassion and love.
That's it. That's it. That's what that would to me, that would end war. It's like we're like, how in the hell? And I know those of us that have, it's like that doesn't do anything. Like now people are dead, now things are destroyed. What did that do?
Mhm.
But but the pain that's occurring that makes somebody want to kill or that's angry or whatever, yeah. Yeah, I mean, call me crazy, but if we had a world like that where we learned when we were little, hey, when this anger comes up, because that's all valid. We have human feelings. We're pissed, we're
Mhm.
this, we're that. They're just deeply traumatized people who are not taught the tool of transmutation and compassion inside of their body. You know, there would be just creative solutions after
Yeah.
that.
And the creative solution thing is so powerful too because we know I feel we're exiting a victim paradigm to a more self-empowered sovereign paradigm where it
Yeah.
has like we have the power to change everything. Even like innocently like you said like we couldn't shift or how we grew up as children, we weren't really in control of that. Our parents, all that. But we have the ability now, almost like a time machine, to kind of go back and reparent ourselves, to kind of shift those things, to change them here now. Because I mean, the past doesn't exist. It's
Yeah.
only the now. So we can keep the past. We can keep like, oh, my parents did this to me, all this other stuff.
Yeah.
No, we're not excusing anyone or anything
Right.
that happened, but we have the power now to change that, to stop it or halt it, see it, appreciate it, love it, whatever,
Yeah.
shift it for us at least going forward.
Yeah, that's to me like that. If you can hear that, if you're listening, there were so many times, and I don't know if you felt this way on your journey, where I felt so hopeless and so helpless. And oh my God, this has been going on for years. There's no solution. I don't know how I'm going to get out of this. But when you know you are healable, you can transmute, you are amidst a quantum field that is filled with unlimited possibilities. Brains are made of gray matter that can shift, neurons can heal, cells can change. You can shift levels of consciousness, you can have an insight from divinity. You know, there is so much hope, there's so much possibility, there's so much solution and resolution that um just knowing that uh like to me it's like because we're taught, oh, it's solid and separate and this is how you are and you got to cope and this is your personality. It's like we're taught this crazy stuff, you
Mhm.
know. And I love how Deepak Chopra calls the body a process. It's funny you use that word too, but he's like it's a process because we see the solid, but it's atoms moving and there's potential for new information to come in and change and move and shift. um And that to me, that would bring me a deep, if I heard that when I was going through what I was going through, it's like there's a sense of safety in that of like, I know I might feel stuck right now, but in truth, I'm not. And I just need to open my mind to, I wonder, my teacher would teach these prayers and I loved them. Like, what's possible here? What's happening that I'm not seeing? What's the solution here? And whether I wouldn't get answers for years, I just kept opening my mind. Help me. It's like I might not see it right now, but help me heal this. What would be the solution here? What's the one? Because I think sometimes we're afraid, or at least this is coming into me. I'm feeling into the energy of the group listening. Sometimes, and this was my experience, we're afraid that the solution's going to be scary, something we don't want to do, um, take 10 years because it took us 10, 20, 30 years to get into this thing. And the solution can be a moment. It can be, to me, that I had a person say one thing to me today, and I went, oh my God, that's it. So it wasn't 10 years. It wasn't scary. It wasn't radical. It was benevolent. It was a piece
Mm.
of love that came in the form of a thought because I opened my mind to the fact that I know I don't think this exists, but I've been doing this 10 years that now I know it does. We just need to stay open to it. Um, and it couldn't be more safe. It couldn't be more loving. It couldn't be more easy and gentle when it's I was going to say when it's divine truth, but you know, that or something like it.
I'm reminded of this drawing I did, and I know other people have picked this, have kind of come to this too, is, the new way, or a more divine way of transmutation is
Mm.
this drawing is this like androgynous, kind of almost like feminine figure
Hmm.
standing there calmly. And there's like this snarly, like blind, jagged, and pain demon coming at him. And she just places her hands on its forehead, not running from
Mm.
it, not fighting it. And it was this idea, and I know other people have come to this on their own, and especially like the how Buddha had tea with his demons. He put his head
Mm.
in, I don't know if this is the same story, but he put his head in the demon and it vanished. Is this
Yeah.
way of acknowledging this way of acknowledging it, of healing it and transmuting this stuff, and it gives us such power because it's so simple. We're coming again, like I said, from a paradigm of victim mentality. Things happen to us instead of, again, there's that paranoia. We're
Yeah, we're stuck
paranoia,
in it. Yeah.
and we, with the will, there's a way. We're a more solution, a completely solution based consciousness, society, world,
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
we're not stuck. Again, man mistakes the ephemeral for eternity.
Mm.
Ephemeral is like, like a shooting star, something that's quick. We get such a small window of things, and we think that's how it's always is. That's how it's always
Mm.
going to be. We're just, our consciousness, and we perpetuate it. Again, innocently, but we all kind of, perpetuate this stuff, thinking this is how it's always been, this is how it's going to be. You can't change it. Here's all that stuff, and again, that's that very rigid, old masculine. It's just like, my father did this. He's always done that. His father did that. It's just that kind
Yeah.
of consciousness
Yeah.
is being retired
Yeah.
with a more feminine way of solution. Or just like, all right, this sucks. I didn't like this. What can I do? Everything can change, like you were saying, all our cells, everything. I mean, even on the quantum realm, atoms flash in and out of existence like thousands of times. I mean, I don't know the number, thousands of times a second.
Yeah.
How just, I mean, there's not even just like one reality. Everything is so more fluid. And so expanding ourselves to infinite possibilities is going to allow things to shift for us,
Hmm.
allow us to seek, not just even seek, but receive what we need, experience what we want, and live
Hmm.
the life that's conducive and expansive for us all.
Yeah. Amen.
So you talked about how you some of the offerings you provide.
Hmm.
I know that like so I love the lioness stuff. It's very interesting how it's what a figure of expression, a
Hmm.
lioness, right? You know, it's like the lion, they roar, the huntress. You know, that's a very I mean, coming from your past, it's a very expression
Yep.
animal.
Yep.
So, and it's powerful too. It's also subtle, right? It's you know she's in the dark, she hunts, you know, she does a lot
Yep.
of stuff, but she's very yeah, she's powerful. So you have the like you have. Would you like to just like tell us, you know, some of the offerings for the
Yeah.
right?
And I welcome it's called Becoming the Lioness because I'm a feminine creature, but it's lion or lioness. It's a genderless upgrade. Um yeah, it's so I have a course. It's actually being edited because I took a group through it, so it'll be up on my site soon. But in the meantime, I'm about to take a group through um, 8 days of meditating on these higher frequencies. And this is from, I am an embodiment of this because it was something I had journeyed through a few years ago. And this journey was how do I articulate what I'm anchoring in right now? And my lesson over and over and over and over again was self-honoring, was like, are you going to 10 out of 10 times if somebody says to you, I want to do this thing, but you don't want to do the thing. Are you gonna own it? And I had to, oh man, was I tested? And I think a lot of people are when they have perhaps similar upbringings, but um, can we know that it is safe to choose you and that it isn't selfish to choose you? And that when you choose you, because you are a quantum field, this is the next, I'm going to create another offering after this about this, but when you choose you, it is the opposite of all of your fears, meaning I want to go to that ice cream parlor. I need to use my voice, or I want to wear that outfit today, or I want to speak at this speed. Like, what is authentic to you in the moment? And that's a journey when we've had trauma, I know. But because your energy, okay, you're blasting out such an internally nourished, safe, cared for space that you will then attract similar people, opportunities, situations that care for you, nourish you, make you feel safe. So, it's really moving from this paradigm because I hear this a lot with clients before I work with them of I'm going to have to succeed at all costs. This is the wounded masculine that comes to me. Um, Again, all innocent. I forcing things aren't working out for me, and I'm pushing, I'm trying really hard. Um, what I do, the more I do, the more I have, the more I do, the more I make.
Hmm.
And lioness is the more I love myself, the more I receive. And it's boundaries, it's self-honoring, it's not abandoning ourselves. It's expression. It's how do I get my voice back and know that I'm not a bitch or an asshole when I'm in my truth and it's getting to know our needs. I'm going to talk about this a lot in my book, right? Needs, wants, and desires, and like knowing that that's okay.
Hmm.
Um, because I'm feeling into it. There's a strength there when we anchor into that. It's this I said this in my insight timer this week, but like I get that once we anchor in these energies, I get this image of like all of us with machetes going through the jungles, like ain't nothing stopping us. You know, they've got the kid protector on it though, if there's any children around. No, I'm just kidding. It is that like boom, boom, boom. Like I am clearing the path through love.
Hmm.
And so that is a very strong integration in it as well. It's like, how do I melt the ice through love, through heart?
Hmm.
So, that's one of the things that's coming up. But honestly, like, and I'm going to be doing some more in-person offerings in LA, but I work with people one-on-one in groups. I'm on Insight Timer Live twice a month where people can come hear like conversations like these to activate higher frequencies. Reiki Rachel and I do a once a month 90-minute activation with a different high frequency uh once a month. And so, you know, YouTube all of these beautiful spaces, books. So where whatever resonates with you, that's where the medicine will be. But
We'll have all your stuff linked below.
amazing.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, would you like to give us a little taste, maybe like a meditation or something like just to kind of show me what you got?
Yeah. You know what I'm feeling too? It's like tuning in to just ask what this group needs to hear. I do these activations where I invite you guys to put your hand on your heart. And so I'll tune into the energy of the group and just bring down from the heavens what you're ready to receive, the truth. And so we'll just do a little, if that sounds good to you,
Perfect.
activation. Okay.
Let's go. I love that.
Feels like what's needed right now. Okay. So just put your hand on your heart. And if you're driving, um, just stay active and just be intentional. But if you're at home and relaxing, just take a deep breath and put your hand on your heart and just imagine here with Matt and I that you are also like maybe you can feel this in my energy right now, but we just took a ski trip together, all of us. And if you don't like to ski, maybe you did the little what are those things called? The donut thing that you slide down the hill on, or a sled, or maybe you just hung out in the cabin or in the lodge and we're done from this really big, beautiful day and we're good, tired, and our cheeks are rosy, but we're warm. And we get inside and we take our shoes off and there's a peace in us and we're by the fireplace and we have our warm beverage of choice. And I want you just to relax in this space here with us for a moment and just breathe. Good. And with your hand on your heart, I'm just going to ask what this group is ready to receive today, ready to remember and recode. So I'm just hearing so you're just going to repeat out loud after me. You can do this in your mind or whisper aloud. It's okay for me to slow down. I am enough as I am. I came here with a specific intention, and everything is right on time. If things feel fast, I'm just in a protective response. My spirit offers me the grace I need. I'm okay as I am. I am provided for by God, by Source. And I take my light at the top of my head and I plug it into whatever I envision Source to be right now. So I just want you to call all of your energy back from any innocent place, which we all do this. We placed resource and provision outside of ourselves and we just pull it back and we just straight from the top of our head, this beam of light right up to Source. It's between me and Source now. And then let that light go down into your body like a spotlight. I am resourced by God, by life, by love. And this is where my safety and my abundance lies. And it's okay if it doesn't make sense to my head yet. I allow the integration of these energies now. I keep my mind open and curious to anchoring into the frequencies that were encoded in today's conversation, they're mine to receive. So just take a deep breath. I am loved. I am light. I am truth. I am enough. I have within me everything I need to be okay. And so here together, this is going to be a space for your prayer, for your intention, right? If you do feel stuck, like we all have, if you do feel confused, if you do feel bitter or resentful or whatever it is, and you want to feel love and you want to feel clarity and you want to feel lion or lioness and you want to feel plugged in or peace, ask for your higher self, for God, for your guides, whatever it is you believe in. I intend solution to what it is, what's on your mind. I intend easy, no big deal, safe, loving solution for this or something better. And so it is. Okay, good. Just take a deep breath. Let all this integrate. And disconnecting our energies, yours back to you, mine back to me. Any residual transmuted to love. You can slowly become aware of your body. And, I'm doing this. I'm just kind of swaying a little bit as you come out. You can just sway the body a little, just kind of slowly integrate and open your eyes whenever you're ready.
That was really beautiful and perfect.
Good. I'm glad that was the priestess in me.
I love that. Jamie
Mhm.
Wozny, pri priestess of the light, the divine light.
Yeah, my name. So I was in this beautiful experience with my coaches and my healers and shamans years ago. And the soul name I got from that was Priestess of the Divine, Bringer of Light.
Mhm. That's right.
That's what they called me.
And I'm Warrior of the Light, MC Warrior of the Light. So there's a something in the works with Jamie and I. So stay tuned for that. But that was a really beautiful. Like I mean, I was taken to. I mean, I've never personally been skiing myself, but I could feel like the like it wasn't. It was like a really nice, not cabin, but like like there was the windows were open. It was dark, and you could see like the navy snow cap hills. Because it's dark outside. The crackling, no TV or anything, just crackling with some people, just like fuzzy, like furry, like warm, like we kind of went and took it. Like to me, I kind of compare it to like at the beach where you kind of come in for the day, you take your shower,
Yeah,
you get cozy, and you kind of like
yeah,
you're
same.
done. Yeah, so that kind
Same
of
feeling.
feeling, and it's just like very tribe together. No, there's no talking, but there's just this cozy homeness.
Yeah.
And what I love is the I also love the plug you were talking about. It kind of like I think you've mentioned it in a workshop before, like the avatar tree
Yes.
solution to source. And I what I brought to for me, what I brought into that for a solution, I didn't feel any sort of. It felt like I felt so peace with it, but I
Mm-hmm.
almost didn't need anything. It just I got this very peaceful before I even brought it, like it was already being taken care of.
And that's a great, I'm glad you presence that because when we pray for solution, we don't even need it right away. It's like, yes, of course we may want it right away, but it's like planting seeds in a literal garden. We trust they're growing. We trust there's going to be a process and that's how it is with intention. It's like or prayer or asking for support like we just did. It's okay if the answer doesn't pop in. We're priming it. We're watering the soil for it to pop in, when your mind's quiet. So if you don't get something right away, if you don't get a little whisper, completely normal.
Yeah.
Or like Matt said, maybe peace is your answer. It's like sometimes it's like, oh, that when I'm at a different level of consciousness, that doesn't even need a solution because there really isn't even a problem.
hmm to me, the analogy how it seemed to me is like at the end of the Wizard of Oz, where they kind of meet the wizard, and they get like because they've come there for like a brain, heart. Is it brain? I can't remember. Just like all these
think
things, and
so.
courage. So,
Yeah.
but it's like I just imagine like coming there, I've just been all mad, like I'm the whole journey, like just I need this thing, and I come there, all mad, and then I kind of get there, and and then my tune kind of shifts, and as I'm like, well. I need this, and they're kind of like already kind of just like this like God divine source kind of smiles, and they already kind of have it under like a little blanket. They're like, okay, and there's just like they like it's already there. It's already there.
Yeah.
It's like they've
Yeah,
been
that, yeah.
expecting that. It's not like, oh, let me get. It's like, yeah, okay, here we go. And so it's just it's I kind of almost feel kind of silly. Well, now I mean it's because it's you meet at that area where it feels taken care of already, like through time and space. It's already working out. I guess for me,
Yeah.
oh, beautiful.
Thank
I
you.
feel so much lighter. Even like I mean, you came in with this like very angelic presence too, especially with your like feather earrings. And so
Yeah.
it's just a saving grace
Aw.
energy you're bringing here
Hmm.
so much.
I love that. Yeah, I'm so blessed to be here. And this is, I just am a fan of yours. Like you hold such a beautiful space, what you see. And oh, I just saw some colors around from the guides that are here.
I love that.
Yeah. Um, yeah, you're incredibly wise and a visionary and a seer. So like having this profound, safe, expansive conversation is lovely. So I'm excited to yeah, for our next adventure, we're gonna create something together soon. So stay tuned.
Absolutely, yes. I do want to say, Jamie, out of all the people I've ever known in my life, Jamie has this, this, she does earn the seer title. Like like I have never felt myself I mean, I've had it to several degrees, but to the most degree, have myself reflected back to me.
Mm,
Like it is truly, I truly do feel seen in her presence, and she offers that to everyone
mm.
she
Thank
talks to, like her friends, family, like everything. So I highly recommend, if Jamie's energy is resonating with you, please do yourself a favor and book her, follow her on her YouTube, her website. So Divinely Human with
my YouTube is Divinely Human by Jamie Wozny, and my website's just jamiewozny.com, and Instagram's at Jamie Wozny, and you can see the multitude of offerings, see which one feels good.
she's yeah, she's amazing. Like she even like it's and there's a lot of play too. Like you're
Yes.
doing these things now on your YouTube where you're putting out shorts of you just dancing, just like
Dancing.
authentically dancing to like some like gentle high vibe music, and it's just so fun. I don't really you don't really see everyone like kind of puts, even a lot of healers put stuff on YouTube with a purpose, like healing or something, but it's just like
Yeah.
dance with me. It's kind of, and it's just
Yeah,
a
that's
short.
it.
It's just like that's it. But
That's it. Yeah,
Jamie's
it's
got a huge, yeah, sorry.
no, I was just gonna say it's an interesting culmination of the artist and like healing through high frequency. And it's like you can do it through dance or you can do it through an intuitive session, so it's just a different expressive form.
Yeah, redefining healing, and we don't have to go through this like medical kind of like procedure. We don't have to like light incense, like all right, let's get serious. No, let's just dance and have fun. There's
Yeah, man. I'll tell
cathartic.
you, it's whatever feels good. Like do what feels good and your body will start to follow suit.
Yes, yes. Jamie has a huge, array. She's like I said, she's been doing this for years. I mean, she's even like worked with some celebrity clients. She's done it all. She's hosted things on some primo LA spots. You have been featured on some amazing podcasts. So yeah, Jamie is the real deal, guys. So check her
The real deal.
out.
Thank you for having me. This was just really lovely.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
Don't
I'm kind
forget
of
to grab
like,
your boots, guys, on the way out. The
yeah, grab
snows
your
are
boots.
cold.
Or I mean, I'm gonna stay a few nights in this like
Oh, that's right. We
resort.
could
Yeah.
say, but I mean, when you leave the ski lodge, you don't
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
have
yeah,
cold feet.
yeah. Take your stuff.
So.
Um, I mean, I just wish we could go on for more hours, but well, let's just, for
Yeah,
cut it for right now. It's perfect.
for
Thank you
now.
for now. Take a bow, Miss Actress.
I know, right?
Thank you all for listening. Jamie Wozny, a Divinely Human, and MC War of the Light out.